Hey team, the Small Business Big Marketing Show is brought to you by Design Crowd and Web Central, two businesses that care a lot about your marketing. How's your business looking? You got a sweet logo, beautiful brochures, a business card that you love handing over? Well, you should. Great design makes a world of difference to how your business is perceived. It adds a certain je ne sais quoi. So if you want a bit of that, then check out designcrowd.com/Timbo and grab up to $100 off your first project. And how's that virtual shop front of yours, aka your website? You know, once someone's on it, they're so close to buying from you or contacting you. So it'd be a good idea to make sure it does what it needs to. And if you need a hand, then I would go and check out webcentral.com.au/Timbo for some exclusive listener offers. Today's guest is 29 and loves disrupting complacent industries. 2 years ago, his business didn't exist. In its first year, it did 7 figures. In its second, it grew 450%. Join me as he shares exactly how he's done it and how you can too.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to another episode of Australia's #1 marketing show. I'm your host, Timbo Reid, but you, so much more importantly, you're a motivated business owner and you are ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. And that's exactly what the Small Business Big Marketing Show is all about. It's what we do around here. If you're back for the 323rd time, then I love your work, thank you. And if you're here for the first time, congratulations. What took you so long? Hey, big show today, Dominic Holland, the founder of toe.com.au, which is a very disruptive business he started just 2 years ago that's experiencing some ridiculous growth, early growth. It's an exciting story, and boy, oh boy, it is dripping with marketing gold. Feedback from an action taker who's gone and successfully applied my helpful marketing concept that I outline in the boomerang effect, you will also hear. As per usual, team, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. Now, if the idea of disrupting your industry excites you, then stay tuned because Dominic Holland is just around the corner and it would appear that he is the absolute master of it. But first, I just wanted to give a shout out to John Yo, the curator of TEDx Melbourne, who kindly gave me a couple of tickets to give away to this year's TEDx Melbourne event. By the time this episode goes to air, the event will have happened, which I am going to, really looking forward to it this Wednesday. So I just wanted to congratulate the winners, Belinda Donaghy from the American Donut Kitchen. I love a donut. Not eating them at the moment, but I still love them. And Michelle Harrison, no business identified, but she's from Healesville. So well done to you too. Hey, speaking of live events, I am also speaking at a Web Central event in Melbourne on Monday, August 3, 2016. Tickets are just $35. How cheap's that? I can make them even cheaper with a discount code. Head over to eventbrite.com.au, search Tim Reid, R-E-I-D. You'll find the event. It's part of the Small Business Victoria events in August. Drop in the event code SBVF2016. You get an extra 20% off that already incredibly cheap price. I hope to see you there. You know, I give away a lot of stuff throughout the year, like books and tickets and things. And if you want to be the first to know, all you need to do is sign up over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.
G'day Timbo, this is Ben Newsom from Physics Education. Hey, thanks so much for putting in some time and effort to put together your book, The Boomerang Effect. Look, I can't tell you how well it's done for us. I mean, we've increased putting videos onto our website, we've increased our social media engagement. Hey, I've even written our first draft of a book on primary science teaching. Look, your helpful marketing ideas have really changed the direction of what the company's doing. Our blogs are now user-focused to actually help them out. We've increased interaction with them without a doubt. We're getting more inquiries to our website now, and frankly, people are sharing what we're doing and saying, hey, we're doing great stuff. So look, thanks so much for the book. I'd recommend it to all your listeners, and look, even if you listen to these podcasts for years, or in fact, it's a great reference just to go back and look at it, when you got the time. And well done, Timbo, and keep up the great work. Looking forward to another great episode. All the best.
Oh, Benny Newsom. Let's just go through that shopping list again. You've got videos on your website, increased social media engagement, you've got a first draft of your book, you have a user-focused blog now, and you're getting more inquiries. Yeah. Marketing does work, and helpful marketing works particularly well. Benny, thank you for sharing that, mate. I really love your support, and I love your enthusiasm. Everyone else, if you want similar results to Ben, then here's my 3-step magic formula. You with me? It's easy. 1, buy The Boomerang Effect over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. You got to read it then. Buying isn't good enough. You then got to read it. And then step 3, implement just one idea. Go. Righto, today's guest, Dominic Holland, the founder of tow.com.au, which is a business that didn't exist just 2 years ago. But today, tow.com.au has completely disrupted the long-established and very tightly held towing industry, generating a 7-figure revenue in its first year and is growing at 7 figures year on year. This is a crazy, crazy story. Dom himself was last year awarded Queensland's Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and just last week won the new business category at the Telstra Business Awards, which I was emceeing. So I got to meet him. He's a good fella. I got to tell you, this chat that you are about to be a part of is dripping, seriously, dripping with marketing gold, as Dom explains how and why to disrupt your industry. He gives a pro tip, a great tip for ensuring your website converts visitors to buyers. He gives a simple hack to automating those annoying tasks in your business, and we've got plenty of those, right? He says why Google AdWords is better than trying to rank organically, which is an interesting insight I hadn't heard previously, and one that's relatively new following a recent update to the Google algorithm, and so much more. Seriously, hit pause and grab a journal and a pen or something, because this is just dripping with gold. I started off by asking Dom, how the hell has he achieved so much success so quickly?
It's all about technology. So we were the first, and we're still the only, towing company really to absolutely embrace technology. And really, the problem of dispatching tow trucks in multiple locations is one that just comes down to technology. So we use GPS and geolocation technology to identify trucks all over the country. And then when booking jobs, rather than having physical manual dispatches, which is how the towing company traditionally dispatches jobs, we use technology to do that. So the software just identifies where a job is needing, where a vehicle is needing to be picked up from, looks at our closest tow truck that's available and has the right license and GVM capacity and whatnot to fulfil that tow, and then allocates the job directly to that truck.
Are you the Uber of tow trucks?
Yeah, that's what we're called by all means. So we just got left. We actually fit within existing regulation and licensing schemes. So we're not coming up against the government. They're actually using us themselves. So, yeah.
And in terms of the technology, and I don't need to get, I start to go cross-eyed when you start talking to me about technology. But what's the difference between your technology and Uber's?
So, and I've actually spoken to Uber guys locally. from that raw dispatch space, the technology is really similar. All of these businesses which have that sort of Uberizing effect at that core level of dispatching a vehicle based on the closest available, that technology is virtually identical. Apart from that, we then have the added challenges of, when it comes to tow trucks, not every tow truck is alike. They've got, different weights they're able to carry and different regulations around who can tow certain types of vehicles like accidents or trade tow. So we then have a whole layer of additional smarts that sit over the top, but that core dispatch technology is virtually identical to Uber themselves. Yeah.
So, mate, when are Uber coming knocking on the door with the checkbook? Is the big question.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. The one thing that would prevent something like an Uber coming into this space is actually the same reason why we don't have a lot of other people, attacking us already. Is that the towing industry is hard. It's a very well-established industry. It's it does have a name for being hostile, for being somewhat hostile, and it's not it's not an industry where you can just set up shop and go door knocking and whatever. So it's sort of it's really good. It gives us a great barrier to entry from competitors, but it's also another reason why even companies like we were just in terms of that regulation and the different categories of vehicles, it just adds complexity to the company is in all the interest at the moment.
Dom, you don't know, 2.5 years ago, I'm guessing you didn't know a lot about the towing industry. You're all about nothing. Yeah, love it. I love that. You're all about technology, right? So what were you doing? Were you looking around going, it's a bit Branson-esque, isn't it? What industry is ripe for disruption? Is that kind of what the conversation was like in your head?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I'm a coder, I'm a developer, but I've never worked. But I've worked for 2 months in my life as a developer for hire, and so I'm not someone who just builds software for a living. I'm someone who uses. My skill set is technology, but I just use that skill set to look at business, in general. So I really like industries or businesses that are ripe for disruption in some way, whether it's to this sort of effect or just an incremental effect to make that business run more efficiently. But yeah, these sort of older industries which are just absolutely ripe for disruption is where I sort of enjoy and where I like to target. And yeah.
So to go a bit deeper there, because there's a whole lot of people listening to this who are in older industries, right? There'll be a group of people who want to go and disrupt, and then there's a group of people who, there'll be a vet or there'll be a plumber or there'll be an accountant, and they're all very old industries. What should they be scared of, and how do they defend themselves?
Yeah, look, I don't think it's... I actually think, it's fantastic. It's not something to be scared of. It's just an opportunity. Yeah. As long as you're looking at it in that way, right? If you're looking at it, for those rose-coloured glasses, you're always going to be scared of it. But if you just accept that things are going to change, then it becomes a really exciting proposition. I'd say that, I've got a rule with my staff that if they come in and ask me the same thing twice, they have to go and automate it. They can't come in a third time.
Wow.
And it's that type of, it's even just on that simplistic level, that's where you get those sort of incremental gains that are just so amazing for a business. And when you have the ability to do that, you can scale to such a fantastic level. You reduce the manual handling of work by such a fantastic degree. And then you can look to grow through technology. So it's not necessarily moving into a new industry and setting up, this whole cutting-edge platform, but just looking at the mundane tasks that you're performing, day to day, and look how you can eradicate them. Because really, with technology, virtually all of the, bar a sort of physical act, like, tightening a pipe or something like that, most of the activities that we do, there's a piece of technology that we can use to sort of automate them, or at least partially automate them. And so just using what's available is really where we can where we can really get some good efficiencies going.
Give us an example of a staff member coming in for the second time and you saying, off you go, champ, go and automate it. What did they do?
Look, you know what, even if you look at, let's say, accounts receivables, right? So you've got one client that, and this is perfect for small businesses, your plumbers, whoever's got outstanding debtors, is, they might go through once a month, at the end of the month and sit down and look at who owes the money. They might send some letters or texts or make some calls or, whatever it is. There's so many fantastic tools out there now to automate that process. There was a startup who just this month went and raised, a couple of $1 million, an Aussie startup called Easy Collect for automating debt collection and it connects into Xero and Mail and all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. But there's other tools to do just to automate the sending of messages, at certain predefined intervals, so that you can always be having those reminders and things go out, and without having to sit down about once a month time. If you can save that 6 or 8 hour block that you put aside every month, there's a full day of work you can go out and do. So even just something that simple, and also talk about not just cutting down, making your business more efficient. All of a sudden, your cash flow, is getting better because you're reducing the number of days to get paid. So, you've got more cash in the bank faster. Essentially, you've probably got more cash because you're actually managing to collect money on debtors who weren't paying you anyway. So there's more money in your business. You can go and invest in, the tools or whatever it is.
So this whole disruption thing, for those who are concerned about it, what you're saying is, be excited by it. One of my kind of catch cries is there's never been a better time to market a small business. And I think it sounds like to you, from what you're saying, there's never been a better time to run a small business. And there are so many things that we can do inside our businesses to automate them, to get the processes that stuff that we don't want to do kind of done by technology, which frees us up to do the stuff that we do want to do, right, and grow.
Oh, absolutely. And even looking at the marketing, side, you look at Google AdWords, right? I think although it's getting more and more expensive all the time, but Google AdWords is such a fantastic tool that you can put $100 in. And until that $100 runs out, you can compete with the very biggest companies in your industry, or the smallest. You can compete on a world stage for whatever product or service you have. We've never had that sort of ability before.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? The playing field has levelled.
It has, and you don't have to have a $20,000 a month marketing budget. You can literally spend money up on an hourly or a daily basis, for whatever your budget allows. So if you go and do a cash job, you can run into the bank, chuck it in the bank, jump into AdWords, fill up your account, and away you go again for a little while. That almost real time or effectively real time, ability to adjust and spend your marketing budget is just amazing. And so small businesses have the absolute prime opportunity to compete with every other business of every other size.
Mate, you are singing my song. That's pretty much why I started this show 7 years ago, because exactly that. And too many business owners, even now, a little bit scared of marketing. It creates unnecessary anxiety. They don't know where to start. They think it's only for the big guys, and clearly you and I agree it's not true. I want to come back to marketing because we've got websites to discuss, we've got domain names to discuss. But before we do that, tell me about getting toe.com.au to market, because I just think the last 2 years has been incredible for you. Launch of it, you've come up with the idea, you've gone towing industries right for disruption. You're the guy to do it through technology. You do it. You don't have any trucks on the road. How did you get this thing to market?
Yeah, look, it was a long, hard road to begin with. The tech side we had covered. Built that platform that's my sort of native skill set. Mm-hmm. Queensland's a big area. It's a 1.8 million square kilometre beast, and there's a lot of remoteness in this state. So prior to launch, I actually, so I spent the later part of 2013 essentially on the road. I drove, from Brisbane right up to sort of Cooktown up north, which is, a couple of thousand kilometres, and then as far west as Mount Isa, which is another couple of thousand kilometres at the west, and then, and then right to the bottom and to Birdsville, which is, 2,000 kilometres south. So, it's a really big state. I met virtually every towing company in Queensland. I went and physically met them, had a look at their holding yards, had a look at their business, at their trucks, asked them, how they operate, what sort of money, the economics of their business. A lot of them, they were actually really happy to sit down and talk about it.
Did you think they wouldn't be? Because they could have seen it as a threat.
Look, absolutely. I was essentially part of an auction house here in Brisbane, or working with an auction house here in Brisbane called City Motor Auction, and we were tendering for a big police contract at the time, the first ever statewide towing contract. And I think not being a towing company, we weren't a threat to them. We were an auction house, and typically towing companies will get paid by auction houses frequently for work. So it wasn't. We were an outsider, but not, and that's the only reason why it sort of could work. So it gave us a really fantastic. Gave me a really fantastic view on the industry and a really realistic view on the industry, right? I wasn't just, I was going into an industry I virtually knew nothing about. Yeah. But then all of a sudden became, an overnight expert in it just because you did those hard yards. And you do have to do that. Like, we've had a meteoric rise, but there was a lot of hard work put in, that we're talking 6 months of just road travel. I'm saying, some of the worst places in the state. But it really paved the way for what we have. And it meant that when we launched, we knew the nuances of the industry, before they happened to us. And we were expecting them. We knew what the default rate was like on people not paying for vehicles, that had been towed, and that is a really high figure. And we knew what would happen after that, and the sort of issues that people were going to have, and accidents and all the rest of it. So I think we had this fantastic bulk of intelligence that we managed to build our product, having known about before launch, and it meant that when we did launch, we launched as an experienced operator, even though we were a brand new startup.
I think the massive learning there, Dom, is the insights that you got from that doing the tour. That you, as you say, 6 months on the road. For overseas listeners, Dom's described how big Queensland is, a lot of remote areas, but you rolled the sleeves up and got out there. It wouldn't have been too pretty. You would have had a good burger along the way, I would have thought. Some of those roadhouses do a good...
Exactly, mate. There were some places I'd get up at... if we say 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning, it could be 30 degrees, and then inside of half an hour on the road, it would go up like 10, 15 degrees. We did 40, 45 degrees. It's phenomenal. It's a really interesting place, actually. It was very, it's probably a good thing to do, people just to get out and see, virtually all of Queensland. But it's really interesting. We've got... the national dinosaur capital of Australia is in
Who would have thought?
Queensland.
Goodness me.
Exactly.
Hey? Is it where Pauline Hanson lives?
Yeah, I think she's a different kind of beast.
So, mate, you do the hard yards. You come back. So you're travelling around because you're going for this Queensland police tender. You come back with all these insights. Was it at that point during that road trip, if you want to call it that, where the idea for tow.com.au became real?
Look, the idea became real well before that. I guess it was that trip was, one, providing insight as to how to roll it out, and two, also validating the fact that there was an opportunity and that it was a viable opportunity.
Yep.
And so that was really important. And coming back and having sort of ticked those two off, we were able to know how to launch the business, and then have a good idea of what that prize was as well at the end of it.
Was it crystal clear? I get fascinated when people have epiphanies, or you haven't used that word, or an aha moment. Was it crystal clear to you, or was there an element of courage where you've gone, listen, I think there's something here. I'm going to go and raise a bit of dough and we're going to do it?
Look, I think, I tend not to have those moments, and that's because where most people are scared of change and, are just a little bit afraid of that risk. I'm the complete opposite. It's not making changes and risk that sort of bother me, and I get antsy when things stay stagnant for too long. So I expect to have, to be working on these unknowns. I think it's for me. There's no aha moment, because I think every industry has massive potential. It's just about working the right model out. And I think the goal was to always identify what that model was, and I think we've done that really, really well. This is by far, the sort of, the most, the best business I've worked in, and that's because we've actually just perfected that model. We've found something that clients of all types just are demanding and begging us for, and so we managed to do that really well. But I think that's the main key. And that aha moment for most people is identifying what that model is, and it's not always apparent at the start, but as long as you're working towards identifying that and realising that it is an evolutionary process. I mean, even we actually started out, and I know you want to get to this after. So we actually launched as City Towing and Impoundment.
As what? City Towing
and Impoundment.
Oh, geez,
Yeah.
Lucky you didn't go there, mate.
Yeah. and that was because we worked only for the police for the first 6 months.
Yeah, right.
And so that business was just a towing and impoundment business.
Yep.
It was always my goal, and I spent the first 6 months negotiating on acquiring the domain name telecom.au. So my go-to-market strategy was always having a better brand. But, again, it's about knowing sometimes doing that, going to market at the start, we wouldn't have had anywhere near the same success as we have now. We spent 6 months building up our network and building up contractors and trust, and we wouldn't have got them if we were competing with them or seen to be competing with them from the start. So, it's your whole strategy isn't necessarily one that needs to be rolled out from day one, and you don't necessarily even have to be aware of the whole strategy from day one. It's just about identifying, what that strategy is. We did know what that was from day one, and we just executed on it well. So.
I want to talk marketing. Before we do that, just tell me, you mentioned something 5 minutes back about fear, and you don't fear. Tell me about that.
Well, I'll tell you what, growing up as a kid, I think I saw it on a movie once, and then I adopted it as my motto in life, which is always accept the unaccepted. And it really sounds like it's your typical cliche, but it just resonated now. It must have been 7 since, when I first heard it. And then from then on, that was just my life motto. And it was, and I just loved it, It's, the world is changing. And I was on a panel recently talking about innovation and leadership and whatnot. And something I said was, that what I think business needs to understand is that we're not going. There's all this talk about the world currently going through, this change because of disruptive technologies, right? And so everyone, trying to understand what this change is and adapt and cater for it. But what I think people have to realise is we've just hit a point where the world is changing more frequently and faster than it ever was. Right now, the technology is better. So the world isn't changing now. The world is now changing faster. And so I think people just have to start to understand that they need to be accepting that change is going to become a more common part of business, for the sake of this, for business. And
embrace it.
Look, absolutely, because it's not just a one-off thing. You can't just build a software platform and then that's going to suddenly make you the leader in your industry. Like that platform needs to be updating constantly. Your business model needs to be updating constantly to match market conditions. And if you do that, if you accept that now, then you're going to, and if you actually adopt that mentality into your business, and then you're going to be really successful.
Love it, buddy.
Forward.
Love it. It's all so much of this stuff. There's no shortage of ideas out there, right? It's the mindset around those ideas, the courage that we're willing to take, the hard yards we're willing to do. That it sounds to me like that's what makes the difference. So, Dom, you've won the Telstra Business Award, the new Business Award in Queensland just last week. You've won the Brisbane Young Entrepreneur of the Year last year. Wrap some numbers around where tow.com.au's at. Turnover, staff, number of trucks, cars towed, I don't know. Give us a sense of size now.
Yeah. Our revenue grew by 7 figures over the last 12 months. We were already a 7-figure business. So we're, I don't want to go into exact numbers.
Come on, mate. There's no one listening.
Look, we're scaling quickly. To give you an idea, the towing side of our business, we grew the towing volume by 320% over the last 12 months. And the revenue for just the towing division of our business, like barring the impoundment side, grew by 450%. So we got massive growth. The individual number of customers paying us for their work, and that's grouping public as a whole, grew by over 500% last year. So, our metrics are off the chart in terms of, the number of people that we're towing, the number of companies that are embracing our platform. We've got statewide contracts with government agencies here in Queensland. We've got national contracts with companies like Europcar, which we took on recently. And I think that's the first ever, real national towing contract. So that's really exciting. And we've got very good growth across the board.
Number of staff?
So we sit between about 25 and 30 at any point in time.
And I'm guessing most of them are technical.
Yeah. So, and call centre based.
Call centre.
All of those staff are obviously office based. We don't count drivers in them. We run a 24-hour call centre here, as well as obviously our development team. Yeah.
Mate, they're just wonderful numbers, although you didn't share the ones I wanted to hear. But, those percentage, how does all that make you feel? Are you like, it's about time, or you just look at that and go, unreal? Yeah,
look, it's a really exciting business, and look, I am absolutely pumped, to be part of it. At the same time, I'm big on data and projections, and we are where I projected we would be. So it's not a shock, but it is still awesome. And I tell you what, it's actually awesome to be hitting projections, especially projections you had before a business was born, because generally it's wildly different. And so it's been, look, it's amazing. But we also just haven't scratched the surface. The next 12 months for us are going to be very, very big.
Have you had to give away any equity?
I had a couple of partners who launched the business with me, silent partners, and we've just been doing a bit of a shake-up in that equity landscape recently, with more to come on that in the very near future. So I did. I'm actually clawing back some equity at the moment. So we've done everything differently in this business.
I love it. I don't think there's any rules anymore. So let's talk marketing. You went and, let's start with the domain name, tow.com.au. You said you were in negotiations for 6 months. Who owned it previously? Fairfax?
Sure did.
What was their thinking? They just go and buy a whole lot of domains and park them, did they?
Look, secretly they do, yeah. Fairfax owns one of the largest domain portfolios in the country. You wouldn't know, but they've got under the OMG brand, and they've got like a digital arm called OMG.
Yeah, right.
They own a large number of domains. But
do you have to pay through the nose for it?
You know what? For 6 months it looked like I was going to, and then I got a call on the 31st of some month, and he said, "Mate, it's the last day of the month, and if you do a deal today and transfer the cash, I'm going to do you a hell of a deal." And mate, I effectively stole it.
How much?
See.
Oh, Vicky. But it wouldn't have been hundreds of thousands. I'm guessing it would have been tens of thousands.
No. I bought it for less than that. But I mean, look, it's still a good investment to make in a domain name. But the amount of money we paid, it's, nothing to be sneezed at. But for the value we get, there was no other name that I was going to have to be that name.
Really?
Look, just make simplicity, 3 words, the simplest branding, in the world.
I've spoken to another guy, Andy Sheets, who owns health.com.au, and he was of the same thinking. He said it's just it's a non-negotiable. I want to own the category domain name.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. It's just so easy, 3 letters. I don't give out our phone number. I just give out our domain name. Phone numbers at the top. I pay through those as well for a 1-3 number each month. But it's still just that domain name just makes it so simple. It's so easy to remember. It's worth the investment 100%. In fact, I would have paid more for it.
Yeah, and hello to Fairfax. Tell me, I noticed TOW.com is owned by some bloke in San Diego. It's a technology blog that hasn't been updated for 5 months. Have you tapped him on the shoulder?
Look, we've had a few discussions. He's owned a domain name for about 30 years.
Oh, mate, that'd be worth a fortune.
20 years, he said, sorry. And he works for Silicon Valley. He works for a, some tech publication over there. He's editor or something. But, I know, it's just such a funny thing. But, because his name is Adam Toe.
Oh.
And, and so he's got toe.com. Anyway,
that'd be worth millions, wouldn't it?
It'd be worth a lot of money. I'm trying to devalue it, Tim. Not.
Adam, if you're listening, give it up, mate. You haven't updated for 5 months.
It'd be worth at least tens of thousands.
Exactly right.
Yeah,
exactly right. We're talking US dollars, so it's okay, so you got the domain name. Now, your website, you know what I love about it, mate? It is insanely simple, and simple is hard. I'd encourage listeners to go and have a look at this no matter what industry you're in. How did you get it down to this beautiful simplicity, Adam? Adam, you got me, Adam Toe. Dom?
Look, it's you've got to... there's an age-old thing, but it's so true. Is if your grandma can use it, it's good, and that's what you've just got to go and do. I'm so critical. I've spent a long time building websites and developing websites, so I do have a fair bit of experience up my sleeve. But at the end of the day, I do the opposite of what most people have got experience do, and I dumb it down as much as possible. It's all about speed and simplicity, and the one thing I would say to anyone who's developing websites or looking at their website and how they can tune it, conversion optimization is the key catchphrase, but it is so true. You need to identify what virtually everyone who comes to your site, they're looking for typically the same things, right? And so give it to them immediately. So the first thing you show them is what most people are looking for. So for us, for a towing company, when we know, because when people call us, this is what they say: they either want a quote or they want to book a job. And if they come to our website, a lot of people still want to book that tow over the phone because they're in a high-stress environment and they just want a reassuring voice on the phone. So we give them our phone number, we give them a quick quote, or we let them book a tow as the 3 main actions that they will see when they first come to our website via either a phone or a website or the computer. And those 3 things are the 3 most important things we can present to them, and so they have absolute focus. It's clear as day how to get one of those 3 actions, and we have lots of other information in our website, but those 3 things are smack bang in the middle. And then again, to flow through each of those things, like to get a quick quote, we make it as simple and as fast as possible. Same thing as booking a tow or clicking that phone number. Make sure the phone number's on your website. You can click and it'll call.
I'm amazed at how many. That's just brilliant advice. Number one, major tip there is whatever people are coming to your website for primarily, make it crystal clear that it's on the home page. But even contact details. Any restaurants listening? Any restaurants? The amount that I see of websites I see of cafes and restaurants without their phone number and address on the home page or on the header is just kind of weird. Yeah.
Mate, I absolutely agree. Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, so you've nailed your website. You have got your great domain name. Clearly, Google AdWords is your friend. You're throwing plenty of dough at that and have an ongoing management of that. What else are you doing from a marketing point of view?
SEO, except, look, SEO for me isn't as valuable as it used to be. And there's been some recent changes with Google so I don't know if you know, so Google used to show ads down the right-hand side of the page, right? No longer ads on the right-hand side page. What they did was they put one extra ad at the top. So now it's got 4 ads at the top. What that means is that, you know, if someone's on a laptop or, you know, or a widescreen display, typically, for any sort of highly competitive term like towing, or, you know, or any highly competitive industry, there's at least 4 people advertising against that term, which means that the organic listings sometimes won't even show in that screen. That have to scroll to find them. And most people now, or the vast majority of clicks, big percentage of them, will click an ad. So the value of being high up in the rankings, it's not that it's not important, it's not as valuable as it used to be.
They're really forcing us to click the ads, aren't they?
They are, yeah. If you've got a really niche product, I don't know, like you sell blue cane rocking chairs or something, then organically, if you boost that organic listing, that's the way to go, because no one else is advertising against that term. But for the rest of us, you know, restaurants and towing, or, you know, any general industry, it's really all about those ads. And, you know, for me in the towing industry, like, you know, it's just common sense. You think about it, if someone's broken down in the middle of, you know, whatever suburb in Brisbane, they're going to pull out the phone and Google tow truck Brisbane. You know, that's just how people work these days. So for us, you know, if we're not there on AdWords, you know, you're just not going to reach those customers. So it's highly important. So we do still have a level of SEO, and, you know, almost all suburbs in the country, we actually rank really, really highly in the top 3 or the top 4 for organic results.
So what is your SEO strategy then outside? Because I mean, you're not creating a lot of content outside of, you know, information around the services that you offer. So is you chasing backlinks?
True, except we do have a content page for every suburb in the country. So there is.
So it's not necessarily on the. Explain that one, because I've heard this before. So what you're doing is, I wouldn't find it by going to your website necessarily, but if I went tow.com.au/suburb.
Well, just type. I tell you what, if you Google towing chinchilla, you'll find a page about tow.com.au chinchilla. And it'll give you information about the holding yards we have around chinchilla and the council in chinchilla and how many tow trucks we've got there. You know, some reporting on the day, you know, the most active days for us towing around chinchilla and that type of stuff. And so again, you look at that. You know, we didn't go and write an individual content page about every suburb in the country. That a lot of that is automated, which you've got to get that finely tuned so that Google doesn't punish you for doing that either.
Yeah, interesting. I'm looking at it now. So pretty simple. It says, we tow in Chinchilla, Queensland. Get a quick towing quote for Chinchilla. Book a tow in Chinchilla. What I love about this is that it's highly personalised. So if you are in Chinchilla, you're going to feel the love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
It is important. And, I mean, it is a little bit more relevant than someone selling chairs, because, you know, or a restaurant in Brisbane, you're not really going to go and content pages in Chinchilla, right? Because no one's going to drop them there. So, whereas we do tow in Chinchilla, you know, we tow all around the country. So it is more relevant for us. But again, that's just about understanding what strategy will work for your business. And
do you have an app?
No, well, not a consumer-facing app, no. We use apps for different things, you know, for government policing and stuff, but not for the public at the moment. The reason is, just looking at just the towing business, it doesn't make sense to have an app, because no one's going to download an app because then you're planning to fail. It's not like Uber where you're planning to travel. You're planning to break down or be in an accident. It's a hard sell, and it doesn't really make sense. So for us, it's all about that mobile site strategy because, it's highly transactional. People only going to use it once. So when they come there, make it as fast as possible for them to use that. And there's no point in making them download an app to do it. And there are towing companies out there that have apps, which I find.
That's weird.
Anyway. Yeah.
Well, maybe for those, blokes driving around in old Kingswoods or, 80-year-old Fords or something that, I'm going to break down at some point. I better get the app.
Maybe, except I think that it's just that, there was a time where the perception was you have to have an app for everything. Consumers just want an app, and that's what you got to do. But it's not. And I think it's just been that. It's just it's an outsider's view on technology, whereas, if you just have a smart view on technology, because no one's outside of the technology, but when you take just a dumb view like that, then you become an outsider.
I think that's great advice. I think you can all too easily go, you got to get an app. Everyone's got an app, but really, why? I look at my phone. I've probably got 4 pages of apps, of which I probably use about 5% on a regular basis.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Dom, I love this story, mate, and I love the fact that it's so young and it's got so long to go, and well done on getting it to where it is at the ripe old age. I think you launched it at 27? When you were 27?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
So any grey hairs showing yet, mate, or are you're still kind of up and about?
There are. I've actually wanted to go grey since I was about 14, so I'm kind of happy about them.
The silver fox of towing. Dom Holland, thanks for sharing some great insights, mate.
No worries, thanks, Dan.
Oh, how good was that? Is your journal full of ideas now? I hope so. Be sure to action 1 or 2 of them. In case you couldn't keep up, I have actually gone ahead and created a blog post listing every single marketing and business idea and insight and the odd tweetable and quote that Dom shared. I think it totaled, a lot. You will find it over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/Dom, D-O-M. Every business owner I speak to on this show, they get it. They get the idea of building great businesses through effective marketing, but some explain their success more simply than others. And I've got to say, Dominic Holland, you are one of those, my friend. Hey, now, before I share my top 3 attention grabbers, which was no easy feat identifying them, here's a word from a couple of businesses that also get it. Support for this show comes from Web Central, who know exactly what Google want. Verity Ma, their Chief Marketing Officer, spells out how to please the world's biggest search engine.
Every time Google comes back to your website and crawls it, they need to see that your website has been changed, updated with fresh content and new imagery. For example, say if you're a restaurant, you want to update your menu every week and provide some specials that are on your website, give some customer testimonials. Now that fresh new content is what Google's looking for. So if you just build your website and leave it for 4 years, which, let's be honest, is very common in the Australian market, then you're not actually optimising your website for your visitors or for your search engines like Google.
Web Central, building and managing beautifully effective business websites that make the big G very happy. Check out webcentral.com.au/Timbo for exclusive listener offers. The Small Business Big Marketing Show is also grateful for the support of Aussie-owned business DesignCrowd.com, the world's #1 custom design marketplace where it's beautifully simple and cheap. I love cheap. To get a design you love, guaranteed. I asked founder Alec Lynch what problems Design Crowd solved for us small business owners.
Buying design has traditionally been an expensive process, a slow process, and a risky process. Design Crowd's crowdsourcing solution fixes those problems.
DesignCrowd.com, a faster, cheaper, more creative way to get a custom logo, graphic, or print design for your business. For a special VIP offer that can save you up to $100 on your first design, visit designcrowd.com/Timbo. Righto, my top 3 attention grabbers from our chat with Dominic Holland of tow.com.au. Number 1, don't think disrupting your industry is only for the big players. You know, like the Ubers and the Virgins and the Teslas of the world. It's not. Go ahead and look for ways to disrupt your own industry. As Dom said, and I quote, every industry has massive potential for disruption. It's just about finding the best model for delivering the best customer experience, end quote. So true. Lose the limiting belief that this disruption stuff's only for the big guys. You can disrupt too. Attention grabber number 2. Here's another quote from Dom. He's a man of many quotes, wasn't he? He says, I quote, all your website visitors are looking for the same thing. Give it to them immediately. Close quote. So, team, get crystal clear on what that thing is for your business and make sure your website delivers on it up front the minute someone arrives at your website. And remember, they don't always arrive at page 1 or home page, right? They may arrive somewhere deep inside your website. So I suggest what you're giving them appears on every page. What they're looking for appears on every page. If you need help, go ahead and contact Web Central. Attention grabber number 3, embrace change. Oh, yeah. You know, the marketing world has changed so much in the past month, the past 6 months, certainly the past 12 months. And these changes that you and I are seeing and feeling, they're playing right into the hands of you and I, the small business owner with a modest marketing budget. So guys, embrace this change that you're feeling instead of letting it freak you out. Hey, what grabbed your attention? I'd love to know. Send me an audio, or you can send me an audio, tim@timreid, reid.com.au, or leave a comment in the show notes over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/323. Oh, hey, that'd be a big episode if ever there was one. I like to think they're all big episodes, but you know, some might be bigger than others in your mind. Well, it does almost wrap up another episode of the Small Business Big Marketing Show. If you loved it, then go ahead and pay it forward by letting another business owner know about this show. One who could do with a little bit of marketing love, because there is plenty more where this came from. Recently, I chatted with Texas-based real estate agent Bernard Ukritz, who was selling a ranch for guess how much? $994 million. Yes, almost $1 billion for one property. I asked him, who buys something like that?
There's people who are in the oil business, obviously, the oil and gas business, in the energy business, and there's people who are in the cattle business. And I would say, you know, cattle and oil and gas are probably, you know, and land acquirers are the top ones. But look, we've taken this to the four corners of the world, which is what I promised when I started this, and we've had an incredible number of inquiries. You know, almost 700 inquiries at this stage, and you know, there's a lot of dreamers in there, and certainly a fair share of scammers and promoters. But there's some real quality people, and we're down to a pool of about a dozen people at this stage, and they're, you know, iconic name type people, and then there's some people that you've never heard of. When you get up into that kind of money, you know, you'd be amazed at how much there is out there and what sources it comes from.
I certainly would be amazed. $994 million is a lot of coin. You can hear how Bernard got that listing and marketed the Wagner Ranch in Texas in my full interview with him over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, or go ahead and subscribe free on iTunes. I love it when people do that. Helps my ratings and my ego. Hey, if $994 million is out of your reach, then be sure to check out designcrowd.com.au/Timbo. They're way more affordable when it comes to getting any marketing materials designed for that beautiful business of yours. And there's an exclusive listener offer waiting for you right now. Speaking of affordable, visit webcentral.com.au/Timbo, who can build you a custom website and manage it for you as well. That way you can concentrate on what you are best at. I would encourage you all to do that. Until next week, I'm Timbo Reid. Always have been, always will be. Thanks for listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.